Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
This is Viral Solutions here in Decatur, Georgia. It's been a COVID vaccine site all along, but today they're expanding that to 12 to 15-year-olds, which is why we're seeing here 14-year-old Jacob Laney. Jacob, what went into the decision today for you to get vaccinated?
Well, my friend got COVID, and it looked really bad, and I just did not want to get it.
He just did not want to get it. He didn't want to get it. No, nobody wants to get it. I have a sinus infection. You know what I didn't want? A sinus infection. Chad, now you're being... It's so funny. Yesterday, I said, look, I don't know if I'm going to get my son the COVID vaccine. And people were like, oh, you're one of those people. I said, no, I'm not one of those people. I said, I've got the vaccine. And by the way, I did everything right. Wore my mask all the GD time. I social distance, which is normally something for me, but extra. Didn't see a movie, didn't go to dinner. 16, 18 months, whatever it's been. Still got the damn thing. Still got it. Right? My son still got it. In a place where he couldn't even go outside, for God's sake. And if you look, actually, they're working from 2 till 9, and then 12 to 15. Apparently, those kids from 10 to 11 are screwed. You guys get nothing. We don't know what to do with you. To be honest with you, we've looked at the DNA and we've looked at the growth cycle, and I don't think there's a lot we're going to be able to do with you at all. But the pushback I got for, Dr. Chad, hey, look, you do what you want with your kids, right? You do what you want with your kids. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. And it's funny, I reread this article again last night from The Atlantic about how progressives and liberals have made this thing out to be the Black Plague meets the Ebola virus. And that they, for all the yelling at the people on the right for you ignore science, has ignored science completely. And have kowtowed and bowed down to the insanity and given into it. Chad, you're wrong about the flu killing more kids. Am I? Yeah, because, the flu on average kills about 200 children a year. This has killed 300. Over 18 months. You're looking at a 13-week period. By the way, go look at the hospitalizations for children with the flu, comparatively. It's not about whether you should or shouldn't. So you feel comfortable enough with it. But it's also about the insanity and crap. Even the New York Times is calling out some of the stuff. Even the New York Times is saying, you know what? Not all what you guys are saying over there at the CDC and stuff, it jives. Not everything you guys are saying, in particular about the outdoor spread. The way that they've put it is insane. And then you get more of this insanity.
Based on experience thus far in this country and globally, I feel confident that if we continue to vaccinate people at the rate that we're doing, that we will very soon have a situation where we will have so few infections in this country, we will begin to return to the normality that all of us desire.
Yeah. He's part of the insanity. I don't think Dr. Fauci's a bad guy, by the way. I don't. I think the work he did in the 80s and with AIDS and the stuff that he's done was fantastic. I also think he made mistakes like everybody else. Let me tell you guys something. He's a human being. I think we're overly cautious. But one of the things they talked about, and this is Dr. Aaron Richterman, University of Penn, was talking to the Times, and the Times and them were basically all kind of agreeing. Some of the stuff that they've compared this to, saying less than 10% of COVID transmission occurs outdoors, he said is akin to saying that sharks attack just fewer than 20,000 swimmers a year. You know how many shark attacks there are a year? 150. Yes, it's true that less than 10%, but the reality is it's probably less than 1%. This thing has never been above board from anybody. People use it for political gain, the games they played. It started out in China. Let's not pretend that it didn't. Let's be completely honest about where this thing started and how this thing started. And I don't think they did it. There's a lot of people that, well, they did it on purpose. I don't think they did. What I do think they did was allow it to escape and then played this game of hiding and BS. New reports out today that the World Health Organization, China's best friend, threw out there. What did it say? Essentially, this thing could have been tamped down really quickly. But as usual, there's the way that you go about doing it, right? Like the way that you go about, oh, well, countries could have done more to mitigate. Countries could have done this. China could have stopped the damn thing. China could have let the entire world know exactly what was going on. They didn't. So here we are fighting over crap like, are you going to get your infant vaccinated? Well, I think I'm going to wait. Oh, that's because you're a nut job. Shut up. Shut up. I'm over it. I was telling the guys, I'm over it. I'm just over the stupidity. I'm over the fighting over things that we don't need. I'm over the exaggeration for political sense. I've always said this, and I'll continue to say this. We live in a democracy. We live in a world of freedoms and rights. Those things you should hold dear, and many times we don't until they're too far gone. And people, yes, will trade their security and fluffy feelers for even more security. And they'll give those liberties and rights away. We shouldn't do that. People should have choice. Absolutely. 100% they should have choice. But you can't have a conversation anymore in this country without people losing their mind. And it's so sad. It is really sad. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. I'm sitting there yesterday, and I'm watching what's going on in the Middle East. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, it's Republicans and Democrats fighting over masks. That's what this has become. It's right Twix and left Twix, except the difference is if politics got involved in right Twix and left Twix, there would be no Twix. There would be no Kit Kat. There would be no Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. There would just be chocolate and peanut butter. Some sort of candy, right? There would be no Kit or Kat. And this thing's escalating fast, by the way.
A night of fear and anguish for so many Israelis and Palestinians who barely slept amid the constant sirens and explosions. The fighting here showing no signs of letting up. Hamas firing 500 rockets overnight, including several barrages on Tel Aviv. 3 more Israelis killed. The Israeli army bombing what it calls hundreds of Hamas targets, from the homes of militants to military headquarters housed in high-rise buildings, bringing floors crumbling down. Gaza officials say 48 Palestinians have been killed, including 14 minors.
Yeah, not minors as in people going to a place to mine things, but children. It is ugly and nasty. It's getting uglier over there. Started a month ago. Why? Well, you've got Netanyahu feels like he's on the ropes, because he is. He's struggling to hold and cling on to power from one day to the next. You have got, and I was talking to my uncle about, this is what's insane. So here's this holy land for everybody, by the way, just for every religion, by and large. Here's this holy land. Last month, Ramadan, what happened? The Israelis restricted things that the Palestinian and Muslims could do, which, of course, set off chaos and craziness. And lo and behold, why not? Is there some testing going on? Of course there is. What do you think the Russians are doing? You don't think they're testing to see what the world's going to do? One thing about Trump was he was that kind of wild card, right? Like this you say about Bush. Bush was that guy that was like, you're not quite sure. He's got a gleam in an eye, and he might want to push a button. You never knew what Trump was going to do, which at times, right, keeps people guessing. But this is going to get ugly. It's going to get absolutely ugly. And it's going to get uglier in the coming weeks and months if people don't step up and say, all right, we need to stop this. As we know with Israel, I was telling everybody, Israel reminds me of, if you've ever seen the movie, The Untouchables. The part where Sean Connery and Costner going back at it about, well, what do you have to do? How do we stop this? And he says, it's easy how you stop it, right? He puts one of your guys in the hospital, you put 2 of their guys in the morgue. That's kind of what Israel's always been about. They never forget. And if you do something, what we're going to do is multiply that by 10 to you. We're not only going to bomb your house, we're going to destroy your neighbor's house, even though they didn't do anything. And that's the battle that's going on right now, and will continue to go on. And it's ugly and it's nasty. And let's be real. It was nice having things quiet there for a long time. We hadn't talked about chaos and craziness. I mean, for the last 4 years, we talked about, Russia. Then that went away. Then it was mean tweets. And then it was he's invoked an insurgency and got people to and it was always something. But we never talking about like who's blowing who up, who's fighting over what, where's the next thing going? No. It was kind of nice. It's kind of nice. We'll see what takes place. But to say that this isn't going to get ugly would be a lie, because it's getting ugly. And if you didn't see, by the way, if you want to see something trippy, go look at their Iron Dome when the rockets are flying over and they've got these like drone-like things flying around, just blasting it out of the sky. It is, it's both creepy and awesome. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Tweeted something a little while ago, and it's totally like within minutes. I've got like 200-300 retweets and all this stuff. And I think was it you, Phil, that sent this to us? We're going to start a rumor today that there's going to be a job shortage.
Yeah, I did.
So for those of you guys not keeping score, there's a job shortage now. And in fact, if you're not employed by the end of June, you can never be employed again, is what I've been told. So do with that what you will. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Rough greens, delicious. That's what my dogs say. I have to be honest with you. I don't know if they really would tell me it's delicious. I see them lick bowls, and all that's left in there is rough greens. So my thought process is they love it. But what I really see is how it's transformed their bodies and lives. In particular, my older dog Doodle, who's got a healthier coat than he's had since we've had him. But most importantly, and this is most importantly, he's truly healthier than he's been. His arthritic hips are virtually just not noticeable. His fatty tumors, he is healthier, happier than he's ever been. Probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, all these amazing things in this supplement that you sprinkle on your dog's food, and it has changed his life. So here's the deal. You could do a lot of different things, right? Because, well, maybe I'll try it. But what if I told you they're going to give it to you for free? So Canine Vita Smart from Rough Greens, they're going to give it to you free. All you have to do is pay for shipping. You go to roughgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad. When you do that, you pay for the shipping, they send you a bag for free. Or you can call 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
They got the beat all right, the Go-Go's, now members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The first inductee that's an all-female band where they played their own instruments.
Rock Hall VP of Education Jason Hanley says this year's class is also historic, with Tina Turner and Carole King getting in as solo acts. The first time 3 female or female-fronted groups are getting in the same year. Turner and King were already members alongside their ex-husbands. They're now just the second women inducted twice. Stevie Nicks was the first. Also getting in this year, Foo Fighters, Jay-Z, and Todd Rundgren. The ceremony will be held in October in Cleveland.
Crazy Todd Rundgren. How about that? I'm stoked for the Go-Go's. I watched the Go-Go's documentary again on the internet. I've seen it 2 or 3 times. Just so interesting. You know, Cruz, I grew up in and around there. The Go-Go's were a little bit, as far as age-wise, they're a few years ahead of me. But I grew up right around where they were playing, and I remember seeing I remember seeing flyers when I was a kid of the Go-Go's playing with Fishbone and all these things. Here's the funny thing: first all-female band to write their own music, play their own instruments, sing their own songs. They hit number 1. Do you know how many female bands have done it since? 0. They still hold that distinction. That's it. Stevie Nicks, Janet Jackson. That's cool. Foo Fighters. That was obviously. But when I watched the Go-Go's documentary, it was very interesting because at the end of it, they were still talking about all this stuff, and they said, yeah, we're still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, you are now. You are now. Pretty damn cool. LL Cool J. You know? Jay-Z. Now Rogers. You look at all these people that, you know, or because you think, you know, it's like, and I know we sit here and we play this game. Like, I find this more interesting than so much of the crap that goes on. I find this more interesting sitting here and debating. It's like, should LL Cool J, is it rock? It's music. I mean, we kind of define everything as rock and roll. If we just don't define it the way that, you know, now everything, first of all, everything is super crossover. But, you know, back then it was just, well, this was rock and roll. And this was this. No, I think it encompasses music altogether. And there's some good stuff. Good Todd Rundgren, he's crazy fun. He is, let's be real. He's a little crazy. If you've never seen Todd Rundgren, just Google him. Just like, whoa, who's that? Well, this is what happens when Elton John and David Bowie have a love child. Todd Rundgren. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Jay-Z getting in there. That was a no. That's a no-brainer. That's an absolute no-brainer right there. I like Jay-Z. He's interesting. He's an interesting cat. Guy was I tell everybody, for all the talent, his number one talent is his business smarts. His understanding of the business world, where things are going. The fact that he sees so far ahead where trends are. And he stays on top of those things. And in many things that you hear today, many things we wear, many of these things, he's had something to do with it that you wouldn't even know about, including athletes. Look at that. He's got the Rock Nation thing. Dude, that's his, to me, that's the thing he's most talented at. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Liz Chaney out of her leadership roles because, you know, she said stuff that apparently hurt Donald Trump's feelings. But Chad, she voted to impeach Donald Trump. She did what she thought was right. I got zero problems with that. Look, I don't have to agree with what people do on either side of the aisle, but when you stand up for something that you believe in your heart is the right thing to do, this just shows you the pettiness of where politics is at, right? This is it. This shows you the pettiness of politics, and it's sad. It's sad. It is absolutely sad. I look at the Republicans right now, and I'm like, you're not conservatives. You're Republicans, right? What is that? It's the name of your corporation. It's not the ideals that you have. It's the name of your corporation. Democrats, that's just the name of their corporation. That's all these parties are corporations. And what do they want? The same thing that every giant corporation wants. But the difference is they can force a lot of things that other corporations can't do. They want the power, they want money, and they want relevance. I look at this and I think this is a joke. Do I agree with everything either side does? No. God, no. But she took a stand. She took a stand. She says, you know what? This is the way I feel. Yesterday, I like what she said.
I am a conservative Republican, and the most conservative of conservative principles is reverence for the rule of law. The Electoral College has voted. The election is over. That is the rule of law. That is our constitutional process.
Yeah. It's the rule of law. Is what it is. she's out. She's out of party leadership. Bye-bye. We got rid of you. We replaced you with somebody who likes Trump. Somebody who really likes Trump. Wait, hold on a second. Are you guys, here's a question. Are you guys conservatives or are you Republicans or are you Trumpians? That's a fair question.
Republican sources that I have been speaking to say there is growing concern that Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is not conservative enough. Chaney is actually more aligned with Trump's agenda. She voted with his agenda more than 90% of the time. Stefanik voted against the Trump tax cuts in 2017, but she did vote to overturn the election results.
There it is. That's exactly it. So let me ask you a question. Are you, and I think this is a fair question, are you about the optics or are you about the substance? That's a real question. Are you about the optics or are you about the substance? The optics are, I support Trump. Trump is great. Trump is Yahweh. I love Trump. That matters. Even though behind the scenes, when votes matter, Liz Chaney was far more conservative. Because say what you want about Trump. Trump absolutely, voting-wise, as far as the things that they pushed through, there's definitely a conservative agenda there. But she does something that Trump wants, which is she's subservient, and that's what it is. So, makes you laugh, right? Like it's the same kind of thing with the likes, it's what people want, with like the media push the same thing. They're subservient to Biden. Doesn't matter what the truth is. How's it make Biden and the administration look? We'll ignore this. April. Here's a perfect example. April at the border. Second highest total in 2 decades. The March, which is before April in the calendar, the highest total in 2 decades. But you know how the media leads with it? Less minors are coming to the border. Solid. That's what they want. They want loyalty. It's the mafia. Let me tell you something about the mafia. I love watching mafia shows. Makes me laugh. The mafia is all about loyalty, subservience. You keep your mouth shut. But what ends up happening is they all flip eventually. Very few of them. It's easy, they'll talk about it. It's easy to go to jail for 5 years if you're in the mafia, right? You'll be hailed as a hero. But when you look at forever, it's easy to flip, isn't it? They'll all turn on each other at some point in time. What's the best interest of me? And the other cowardly thing is this vote behind closed doors, right? That, to me, I always just found that it's a secret ballot.
House Republicans will huddle behind closed doors this morning. It will be a secret ballot. And, of course, Chaney did survive a similar vote like this back in February, but now party leadership has made it clear that they want her out.
Secret ballot. Well, they got their wish. She's out because they had a secret ballot. Secret ballot. Oh, my Lord. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. All that being said, Producer Phil, tell everybody what happened to gas prices where you live.
They went up 30
overnight.
cents overnight by me.
30 cents overnight. 30 cents overnight. Will you think about that for a second? 30 cents. Now, where I live, they did not go up 30 cents. It actually dropped 3 cents. But as I tell everybody, West Coast, here in the Southwest, we get our oil, gas, fuel, and stuff for planes, everything, in a different way than what happens in the Southeast up through the East Coast. And you're going to see more of this for a few days. People need to calm down, though. Should be going online sooner rather than later, and it'll really kick in the next few days. This is not going to be a forever thing. It isn't. But yesterday afternoon by, like, producer Anthony and I were talking. His brother lives out there in Atlanta, Georgia, as does my other honor partner for my local show here. His brother's a doctor there. And they were saying, yeah, some places have long lines and stuff like this. By 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, actually, I think, Pacific time, 20% of gas stations in Atlanta had no gas because people are panicking. It's going to come back. But the question is, what happens from here? Is anybody going to be held accountable? And I think that's a real thing because we have a very, very, very interesting way of saying we're going to hold people accountable and then not holding them accountable.
He's going to have to think seriously about attacking or at least, sanctioning their oil supplies and their money. And if he does that, I would give him some very stern advice to make sure he thinks through an off-ramp so that we don't get into an escalatory battle that we can't win.
Tom Bassert right there, who was a Homeland Security advisor for Trump. And how does Biden come at this? How does he approach this situation? Because this isn't a one-off thing. China, North Korea, Russia, Iran. This is cyber warfare. You want to know where wars are going to take place in the future? I'm going to tell you guys right now. Nuclear wars. Unless China did something so abhorrent that the world has no choice but to turn, there's not going to be a nuclear war. It's going to happen on the web, through cyber crimes and attacks and spies, and it's going to be consumer-based. And the battle that goes on economically. But something needs to be done, and there needs to be a reckoning, because for all of the talk over the last 4 years about how essentially the subservient one in the relationship was Trump to Putin, now's your chance to show, hey, you know what? It's time you guys understood that this is what it's going to be about. We're not going to take this crap. We're not going to take this crap. Will Biden? I don't know what Biden's going to do at this moment in time. Do I think they will do something? Yes, because I think other people around them are going to absolutely make sure that Biden understands, we've got to act here.
It's not just the price.
And I don't know if that's going to happen. Again, I don't know what happened, but it's, because you can say it's not just the price of gas. There's a lot of other things.
It's not just the price at the pump and the airlines that are suffering, but pretty soon people will realize that almost 40% of our energy supply comes from burning natural gas. So it's a big deal, and it's time to hold the individuals at the keyboards accountable.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's see what we do. I mean, I don't know what we could do. Oh, yeah, maybe we can help our buddies out in the Ukraine. How would that make him feel? Push, push, push. You're being tested. This is what happens to the new guy, right? Like, this is what happens. Let's test this guy. Now, he's not a new guy in the way that we think. Like, Trump was an absolute new guy. But you're going to test, and you're going to have yourself tested. China's pushing. You see what they're doing in South China Sea. You see their expansion there. They're building stuff right under everybody's nose to the point where, the Japanese are like, I think we need to start doing something. Australia and China are they're ready to go. And Taiwan at any point in time is ready to essentially, sink the island, if you will, because they're not in any way, shape, or form wanting to deal with what China's bringing. There's going to be a test, much like a child. I've got a little one. You test, you test, you test. What's he do from here? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Liz Chaney, out. John, out. Thank goodness. Whew, got her out. Because all the stuff that she does, it's crazy. What? No, she's not. She just spoke what she thought was the truth and was backed up by some stuff called facts and data. And well, there you go. What are you going to do? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Masterclass, you say. Yes, masterclass. So I have masterclass. I tell you guys about this every single day. It is really cool. This morning I didn't have time to jump on it like I wanted to, but normally I get in a little bit extra early, and I go and I check out masterclass. They're adding new classes every day, and these are the masters of everything you could think of, right? So you can go there and you can see, you hit Discover, right? So it's 41 cents a day. You're learning from the greatest actors in the world, the greatest writers in the world, the greatest voiceover artists, the greatest historians, scientists, rock stars. Tom Morello, right? Talks about writing, chorus, solos, arrangement. And it's all done in these amazing videos. So it's about 20 lessons, right? And each little class that you do is about 10 minutes per lesson. But learning and seeing these things and understanding stuff, so many people are saying to yourself, you know, I think I could write a TV show. I think I have a bestseller in me. I would like to take the music that's a hobby for me and turn it into something. You'll have a chance to learn and find out how you can potentially take that hobby to the next level. Or maybe you just want to expand your knowledge and you like learning. Masterclass is amazing. Truly, truly is. And by the way, if you want to learn how to make the best omelets in the world, they've got a bunch of classes with, you know, Gordon Ramsay, Thomas Keller, Wolfgang Puck, you name it. It's there. Now's your chance. 41 cents a day. Go to masterclass.com/Benson. When you do that, what do you get? You get 15% extra off. That's how we work it, kids. We're no joke. We're not screwing around. You will not be disappointed at all. Masterclass.com/Benson. Save an extra 15% right there. Masterclass.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Irreverence? Yeah. So what? It's the Chad Benson Show.
Play a little bit of Go-Go's here. Nominated to the Hall of Fame of the Rock and Roll, along with Jay-Z, the Foo Fighters. Love me some Foos. Go-Go's were... I had such a crush on Belinda Carlisle. I like Jane Weedland, too. She's a little out there, though. She is. She's a smidge out there. It was interesting, though. If you've not seen the documentary and you're in that Gen X area, grew up in that kind of 80s new wave, check it out because it nostalgia is great, but just also, you know, like what they went through. But what a hot mess they were. Long before they met each other, they were kind of all of a hot mess. They were interesting. Still are. Still touring around. I saw them play, well, I've seen it play a bunch of times, but the last time I saw them play was at actually a Mother's Day thing. It was a run. One of those, like, charity runs. And then my mom had signed everybody up for to go and watch my little brother. My little brother Spencer, if you guys don't know, he's in a wheelchair. So my mom had signed us all up. And it was this situation where the police officers were supposed to take the kids and run with them. And I was just in flip-flops and, like a T-shirt and some shorts and just going there, because my mom's like, oh, we should go. It's Mother's Day. I'm like, all right, we're going to all go. And there was too many kids, not enough runners. My mom said, you're going to have to take Spencer. It was like a 10K. I'm like, Mom, I'm in flip-flops. And it was around USC. But I took him. It was very interesting. Interesting to watch me how serious they get about running. I'm very serious about running. Oh, my goodness me. You know who else I ran with that day? Was it Parker Stevens, one of the Hardy Boys? He and I, we talked for like an hour. It was kind of interesting. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Imagine this. You're at home in Houston, and you look outside, and you say to yourself, is that a tiger? Oh, yeah, it's a tiger. It's a tiger. But it's in the yard, and it's a real tiger too. It's not a pretend. It's not Tony the tiger. Nope, it's none of those things. It's a real tiger. Now the old adage goes that there's more tigers in captivity in Texas than in all of the wild. But sure enough, it was a tiger. And so what ends up happening? People call the police show up, and then they eventually arrest this guy who apparently had the tiger, put it in a vehicle and took it away, is what they're saying. But he is wanted for something, potentially murder, was out on bail, and his person, being the lawyer, said,
everyone's just assuming that he's the owner of the tiger, that it's his tiger. And they're also assuming that my client is the one who put this tiger in some vehicle and took it away and maybe did something nefarious with it. And my client is not the owner of the tiger. He's not guilty of any crimes.
That's why you love Texas, kids. Freedom! Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The party is in a place that we've got to bring it back from, and we've got to get back to a position where we are a party that can fight for conservative principles, that can fight for substance. We cannot be dragged backward by the very dangerous lies of a former president.
Liz Chaney, she's been ousted. No, she's still a congressperson. They don't throw you out. Right, but she's ousted from any of the other things that matter, because you get to a certain point where being a congressperson just isn't enough, right? Because you go there and what ends up happening? You want to be on committees. Committees matter. What committees? Well, she was the third highest ranking congressperson. Kevin McCarthy leads the way. He sucks. Oh, Chad, how dare you say that? Super patriot. He's a flip-flopper who will go outside and any given day, depending on which way the wind's blowing, will tell you exactly how you want him to tell you how he feels and what he believes. That's what I think of him. Liz Chaney, look, you don't have to like what she did. You can say, hey, you know what? She got some cojones, right? Like she did come out and her belief was, I think what Trump did was wrong. I think what Trump did and the lies he told were wrong.
We have seen the danger that he continues to provoke with his language. We have seen his lack of commitment and dedication to the Constitution. And I think it's very important that we make sure whomever we elect is somebody who will be faithful to the Constitution.
I have zero problem with that. You know, Jeff Flake was one of the first ones to come out, and he went after Trump, right? Said this guy is essentially a charlatan, and he has no business being president of the United States, kind of, paraphrasing there. And, of course, he got destroyed, and, he was already not running for election. It's easy when you're not trying to compete for your job. I say this, guys, Democrats and Republicans, those are not parties with ideologies. Those are corporations. Liberal and conservatives are the ideology. Much like everything else, these things get hijacked for what's the best thing for us at this moment in time. She was not sorry. She yesterday laid out a lot of stuff there that, you know what? Kudos to you. Again, you don't have to like her. You can think she's the worst person. You got some of the stuff yesterday people were saying about her. I just thought to myself, who are you? Are you that lost? Are you Are you that insane? But for a lot of people out there who live in a world of no more reality because they sit there and watch One American News, Newsmax, and Fox all day, just like the people on the left watch MSNBC, right, CNN, and read the New York Times all day, and the Daily Kos and the Huffington Post, and they're all lost in half-truths, not the whole story, and affirmation over information.
Today, we face a threat America has never seen before. A former president who provoked a violent attack on this Capitol in an effort to steal the election has resumed his aggressive effort to convince Americans that the election was stolen from him. He risks inciting further violence. Millions of Americans have been misled by the former president. They have heard only his words, but not the truth, as he continues to undermine our democratic process, sowing seeds of doubt about whether democracy really works at all.
There's some truth in that. Look, there's a lot of questions that we should absolutely feel we should have answered about the last election, as we do every election. We based on the information at first that came out, people had questions about Russia, but those things should have been tossed away easy. But it was okay to ask some of those questions, right? Zero problems with that. There were some questions that should have been asked and answered over the way that some states handled some of their elections. But, by the way, most of those states had Republican legislators. So, when you look at Georgia and a place like Arizona and you talk about, look at how they cheated and the insanity of it all, you shake your head. But you can ask the question. The problem was, it was just the assumption that, well, he won because he cheated. They cheated for him. Look at all the things they did. And even when you point out that's not true and you show them that that's not true, it doesn't matter. They're on to something else. Like right now, we're counting 2.1 million ballots here in Arizona. So they're doing 2.1 million ballots counting. Run by a guy who is a stop the steal guy with stuff that has been pushed out there by a guy that is a Jovan Pulitzer, who is a treasure hunter. I'm not lying. He's a treasure hunter who was thrown around the idea that 40,000 ballots were flown in here from South Korea overnight, because apparently the South didn't like him. Not even from North Korea or China. 40,000 ballots were flown in here overnight. And that's why Trump lost. It's crazy. Here's the question. Why aren't you auditing the places that he won? Maybe he won by more. Curious. This is what happens. And by the way, if Trump runs again and he wins in 3.5 years, the left will be at it with saying, well, he had to have cheated. Because we're at the point now where we have such distrust in the system that whoever wins, especially now, it's going to be looked upon as not a real win. And that's sad.
This is not about policy. This is not about partisanship. This is about our duty as Americans. I will not sit back and watch in silence while others lead our party down a path that abandons the rule of law and joins the former president's crusade to undermine our democracy.
And I'm here to tell you, if and when the 2.1 million ballots are finally counted here, which is going to take a long time, I'm just going to let you guys know this. They are nowhere close to getting this thing done. I think they thought it'd be easier. I think the ninja guy, the cyber ninja guy, thought this thing would be super easy. He's going to take his 150,000. He's getting ready to go to Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Everywhere Trump lost, he's going there to prove that it was stolen. He's got a system. So, in saying that, they've accounted 300,000 ballots. They have 1.8 million ballots. They are going to have a pause here in Arizona in about 3 weeks. And the reason is because the Democrats hate them and they want to. No, it's because the arena of which they're counting all the ballots has been rented out for a very long time, months and years in advance for high school graduations. So there'll be a 3-week pause. Then they'll get back at it. You're looking, based on the numbers they're doing at this moment in time, from there on about 100 days. And then they'll put the report together, and let me tell you what it's going to read. It was stolen from Trump. Chad, are you a soothsayer? I am not a soothsayer. I am not Chad Stradamus at all. I'm just saying. And they're going to come up with something. And then what's going to happen is it's now up to you to prove that it wasn't stolen. And then you're going to say, okay, let's see your stuff. Well, we're not going to show you our stuff. Okay, so I'm just supposed to take your word for it. That's the way this is going to go. Because as long as you don't have to prove it was stolen, you just have to put the seed of doubt in there more and have it take root and go from there. That's what happened 4 years ago with many Democrats, with Trump, and that's what's happening now. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. All that being said, vaccines are available to kids now. Will you or won't you get your kid vaccinated? It's very interesting. Overnight, I posted a poll. I wanted to see if people were interested in getting their kids vaccinated. And the poll came out in a way I think a lot of people thought it was going to come out. 41% said yes. 30% said no. Another 30% said, I'm going to wait and see. I think it's fair. I think most people at some point in time, the 12 to 15-year-olds, when you do 2 to 9, that might be a little bit different. It was interesting. I talked to yesterday Dr. Richard Carmona, who's a former Surgeon General of the United States of America. And he said, I understand, the 12 to 15, the 2 to 9, your best thing is to consult your pediatrician, which I found to be very interesting and refreshing. So consult your pediatrician. So if you have a youngster, you go out and you say, you know what? Hey, doc, how do you feel? Is this safe? Is this good? There's been very little issues with kids getting really, really sick, and the kids that have gotten really sick and some that have unfortunately passed away. A lot of that is because of other things that were underlying conditions that caused them to have serious issues. So this will be interesting to see the two. I think that the 2 to 9 cell is going to be way tougher than the 12 to 15. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Love hearing from every single one of you. Top of all of that, we're celebrating the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, baby. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They named the class, if you will, of 2021. Go-Go's in. Tina Turner in. Tina's already in there with Ike. Todd Rundgren in. Carole King. She's in with her ex, but now she's in on her own. Jay-Z. This is what I found to be very interesting. So, Early Influence Award, Kraftwerk. If you guys don't know, Kraftwerk is everything you think a German band would be. They're precise. They have very little personality, but they were the precursor to the Daft Punks and the electric music we hear today. LL Cool J, Billy Preston, and Randy Rhoads also in as well. Love me some Foos, baby, and the Go-Go's. Play some of their music throughout the show today. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Raycons, if you're going to listen to music, man, you can listen to them on Raycons. Summertime's here. You want to be outside. You want to be rock and rolling. You don't want stems. You don't want to put wires. What you want are earbuds that are amazing. What you want are earbuds that have style, that have amazing sound quality, and have just massive battery life. And that's what the Raycons give you. So they got the E25s, right? These things start well under $100. And right now, I'm going to tell you this, they're under $70. Got to act now. 6-hour battery life, 24 hours of battery life with charging case. So you charge the case and everything, and it's there. Then they got the E55s. These are about $100. And these things are crazy. 36 hours of battery life with charging case, wireless charging enabler, water resistance, easy to grab lanyard, 6 hours of battery life. Sound quality and design from all of these or incredible. Take advantage of this 45-day, as they say, happiness guarantee, 100% satisfaction guarantee, free shipping. Now's your chance. Take advantage of it. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending.
What's trending?
Yeah, what does that mean?
I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending?
Let's take a look and see what's trending. First and foremost, let's start on Google. NFL schedule. Trending big time, going to be released. What's going to be the big stuff? It's going to be interesting. Who's where? Who's Phil's team play this year? Washington football team of Washington, D.C. team. Colt Brennan, trending. Biggest trend yesterday. He was quarterback of Hawaii. Came in, I think it was 6th and then 3rd in the Heisman Trophy. Had all these massive records. Didn't play, was drafted actually, I think, by then the Washington Redskins, but got injured, never played it down in the NFL. Struggled and died yesterday at 37. He tried to get in rehab the day before, and they turned him away. They didn't have any room, and he ended up passing away. And it was just a really kind of sad thing. Guy had like a lot going for him, but it was another one of those tales of what if. And for some people, that kind of fame and it burns so bright, and it's just tough. It's tough. Premier League, soccer's Man City champions of the Premier League. That's all I have to say about that. I don't care about you guys. Jerks. I'm a Manchester United fan. Head on over to Twitter. What's going on Twitter? Well, the usual baloney. Liz Chaney is definitely trending right now because she is out of party leadership because she's bad. She's like Trump. Top of that, New York Times is trending because over 100 Republicans, including some former elected officials, are preparing to release a letter this week threatening to form a third party if the Republican Party doesn't make certain changes. I think that might happen, actually. Now's the time. People are like, well, they can't do any damage. You don't need to do a lot of damage. Let me tell you something. You don't need a lot to control. You need a little. That's all you have to look at. If you had 4 seats in the Senate and you were able to pick off 20 seats in the House, that's truly House money. They're coming to you to make deals. It'll be interesting to see the way that plays itself out and how real they are. A lot of people threaten those things, but then nothing really comes of it. Top of that, the Go-Go's, Jay-Z, Foo Fighters, just name a few, trending as well because they are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And gas shortages continue throughout the Southeast. Just expect if you're out there and you don't have any gas, you're not getting some till maybe later today or for a few days. East Coast is seeing giant jumps and spikes in prices. You can expect that because of the cyber attack brought on by the Russians. I said it. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
not conservative enough to handle the role. But, seemingly what really matters is the fact that she is aligned with Trump. She has the endorsement of Trump. And so we are going to see this party continue to align itself with the former president, despite the fact that he is out of office.
Yeah. And he loves every second of it. Liz Chaney gone. That's their choice. I don't really, but this is where you have to ask yourself if you're a Republican. Is it conservative values? Is it smaller government, strong immigration, lower taxation, a free market, telling the truth, protecting our rights, living by the Constitution? Is that what we're about? Or are we a reality show in the making by a guy who, I will say this, Trump governed very conservatively, almost Reagan-esque as far as when you go and look at some of the moves he tried to do. He made some mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. No matter what president you worship at, because that's all too often what happens in politics, they will make mistakes. All that being said, the guy told some porky pies. He did. And the biggest one is the continually saying, oh, it was stolen. Everything was stolen from me. Well, you've got the chance to prove it. You're counting ballots in Maricopa County, 2.1 million ballots. You're going to count. And I've already said how this is going to end because the people that are in charge of it all believe it was stolen. And, wow, what do you think is going to come out of it? Just curious what you think is going to come out of it. In fact, one of the guys counting the ballots was actually at the Capitol on the 6th of January and part of that whole debacle. And he was on the ballot and lost, but they're not counting his ballot, so he's good. And this isn't going to be over anytime soon. I'm just letting you guys know this. This will permeate for the next several cycles of voting. At some point in time, you have to ask yourself, same thing, you're over there on the left and you're looking, you're saying, look, are we classical liberals? Do we believe in, classically liberal things? Do we believe in union, right? We believe in the strong thing. We believe in choice, but do we believe in the insanity of which the progressives are pushing out there? The canceling everybody and getting rid of free speech on campuses and critical race theory. Is this what we're becoming? Is this it? And that's what both parties have to ask themselves right now. Liz Chaney, though, gone.
What happened today was sad. Liz has committed the only sin of being consistent and telling the truth. The truth is that the election was not stolen.
Yes, it was, Adam Kinzinger. You know that. You know it was stolen. Well, you'll have a chance to prove it. But then you're going to have a chance to defend it because you're going to come out and make some big statements soon. Here is one of those things. And I don't know what's going on. We've got this entire, where the Phoenix Suns used to play back in the day when everybody had those crappy arenas. They call it the Madhouse in McDowell. It's now where the state fair is held, and it's this old arena, and they're holding the counting there. And the people that are running it, as they've gone about doing this, they've tried to change some of the rules. Now there's a battle going on because they want access to routers and stuff so they can look up. Well, you have to have that. But Paul Penzone, who's the sheriff out here, he's the one who beat Sheriff Joe, is like, I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you the passwords so you can look up everything. Medical, arrest records, all of these things. And you can also look up other things that have nothing to do with any of the election. So have fun with that. No, he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. So there's a giant battle going on there. one of these situations where you're frustrated because there are questions that should be asked based on the fact that non-elected officials made calls in states where they went against their own constitution and had no rights to make those calls. But what ended up happening was the noise that came from it was so insane, so absolutely ridiculous. And the people that were out in front of it all, they were a circus. They were. They were an absolute circus. Right? You've got lawyers out there talking about the Dominion machine, and we know it's Venezuela and China and all of these things, and oh my goodness, and even Lindell. Look, I love the MyPillow products, but he's lost the plot at times. Let's not pretend. What did he say the other day? He told one of the people that you should turn yourself into me. If you're lucky, you might get 15 or 20 years. We're going to prove it. Prove it. Everybody's got a chance to prove it. Mike Lindell's case, I truly think he believes it, and that's going to be the test going forward in his trial of the $1.6 billion versus $1.6 billion lawsuits. But I'm about truth. I want to know what the facts are, right? I want to know what's the facts about this. What's the data say? As much as you can get, because no matter how wise you are, is the old saying, right? Even the wisest man can look like a fool if given the wrong data. And that's the tough thing, too. Whose data do you support? I don't know. Which one affirms what I believe? Well, then that's the one I support. And that's the frustrating thing. So this is going to get ugly before it gets better, but it will get better. Every once in a while. Here's the thing about democracies. Normally they end. They don't last a long time. Normally they fall apart at some point in time. Our founding fathers were always worried that we would eat ourselves up from the inside. No foreign adversary was going to get to us. Nobody was going to invade us. It just wasn't going to happen. Several reasons. First of all, we have the greatest natural barrier that you could ever dream of. China's got its wall. Well, guess what we have? We have thousands of miles of oceans on either side. So it just was never going to happen. But us destroy each other from the inside? Yeah. The thing is, though, we'll have a chance to have a reset, but it ain't going to come soon. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Gas shortages everywhere, and it's ugly.
Now, this particular pipeline also supplies other states in this particular region. That's where we're going to see the crunch. And this is why we know that we have gasoline. We just have to get it to the right places. And that's why these next couple of days, I think, will be challenging. And we want to encourage people. It's not that we have a gasoline shortage. It's that we have this supply crunch and that things will be back to normal soon and that we're asking people not to hoard.
Yeah. What's the difference between a shortage and a crunch? Well, first of all, we have all of the gas we need. It's getting it from point A to point B. One of the reasons prices have been going up over the last several weeks and months is because during the pandemic, when everything shut down, what weren't people doing? They weren't going to work. Well, if they're not going to work, what are they not doing? They're not driving. If they're not driving, they're not consuming gas for their cars. So with all of that being said, you had an abundance of gas and no buyers. Owner-operators of vehicles that take gas from point A to point B, petrol, they went out of business. Now we don't have people that are taking those things from point A to point B. We don't have enough of them. Then you've got the pipeline issue. There's more than enough. Right? It's like one of those things where it's like everybody here is thirsty, but we're all over here. There's more than enough water to drink in this giant, beautiful pond that's just gorgeous, and we could drink it and it's safe. Problem is you guys can't go over there and get it, and we only have one cup. It's going to take a while to get it to you, but it'll get there. So don't hoard it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So producer Phil, it went up how many? 30 cents overnight?
Yeah, almost 30 cents.
That's crazy. See, it's really interesting. Where I live, where I get on the freeway, as I always say this, I live in the Valley of the Dirt People. So Pinal County is outside of Maricopa County. It's kind of a rurally area, and I always say it's the Valley of Dirt People because it's still kind of one of those things where you have, a farm that is, multi-million-dollar farm, and then, at the end of the farm, there's 8 trailers. And they are living their own lives, and they have nothing to do with the farm. And then you'll see beautiful houses across the street, still very unincorporated in a lot of areas. But we have huge, where you get on the freeway, we have 4 massive. We have the Flying J, Pride, Loves, and another one of those big, Pilot. So our gas prices are always 30 cents cheaper than in Phoenix because there's always people pulling in because it's a truck stop and the trucks go there to stop. And so while everybody else's prices are going up, ours have been coming down. But I filled up yesterday in Phoenix. I had to. I was like, oh, my goodness, I forgot to. And it was like 50 cents more here. Now, in the West Coast and Southwest, we don't get our gas in our whether it's airline fuel or any of the other stuff through the pipeline that they do. But it's still been an issue out here. But, man, 30-cent jump overnight, no wonder people panic. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. And I talk about that. I saw an article yesterday, and I'll get back to Rough Greens and say, these idiots in Australia, they nearly killed their dogs because they were vegans, and they didn't think their dogs needed food like that. So they tried to feed them like soy and stuff that they just, here's some grain, just stuff that was, you would never, they need meat, right? You build it around that. And I thought to myself, people are such idiots. They really are. If you want your dog to have good nutrition, you can find it without trying to be these crazy hippies. And they were told by the government, you can't own animals for 5 years, which is probably, not long enough. It's crazy. Rough Greens, though, it's the kind of thing where you can get them the nutrients they need, including stuff like vegetables, vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, all these amazing things. It's just a supplement. You sprinkle right on top of your dog's food. Boom. They eat it. They love it. They love the taste, but it improves health like you couldn't believe. My dog Doodle, talked about him. He's old. We thought about putting him to sleep last year because he was very bitey. And it was sad. We started giving him Rough Greens about January of last year, and here we are, 16, 17 months into, as we used to joke about, the experiment, and because of Rough Greens, his joints don't hurt, his arthritic hips are barely noticeable, he's happier, healthier, and his coat's shiny. That's what Rough Greens can do for you. Right now, try Rough Greens. They're not even going to ask you to pay for it. You just pay for the shipping. They're going to send it to you for free. It's that simple. If you don't like it, what's it cost you? Shipping? If you do like it, you're going to be like, we need to give this to our dogs all the time. I bet you do the latter. Roughgreens.com/Chad, RUFFgreens.com/Chad, or call 833-MY-DOG-77, 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
If you like talk radio like Chad Benson likes his meals, you've come to the perfect place for takeout.
Todd Rundgren. So I said earlier that he is the love child of Elton John and David Bowie, and I think this video is amazing. He's got light blue hair with his hair down the middle. He has this outfit on that it would make Liberace blush. And he also has horns on the shoulders, and then I think he's wearing butterflies for eyelashes. And I wouldn't even call this an outfit. That's a blouse. Chad, he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was an interesting character, and let's be real. Jay-Z's in there, right? The Go-Go's got in, the Foo Fighters, talk about no-brainers. I'm surprised the Go-Go's took as long as they did. I think part of the reason is when you go and look at the 80s, there's a ton of great music from the 80s, but the 80s were kind of like the 70s discos. But it was different because if you were in the 70s, you were either rock or you were disco, right? That's the way they kind of looked at you. In the 80s, it was kind of thrown together that, okay, there was hair metal bands, But really, it was just all kind of like new wave or pop, and it didn't get the love it deserved. And I think that's kind of hurt. And the Go-Go's deserve to be in there. So do the Foo Fighters. It's good for them. Todd Rundgren, 72 years old, born in Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. An interesting character, to say the least. NFL is going to release the schedule tonight. But they have released the games that will take place on Thanksgiving Day. Very interesting. The Bears and Lions, they're playing. The Bills and Saints are playing. And the Cowboys taking on the Raiders. Week 1 has been released. Here you go. NBC, Sunday night game. Cowboys, Bucks, right? Well, that's the kickoff games. That's Thursday, right? That's when they kick it off. So then you go to the NBC, then you go to the regular Week 1 schedules. Steelers, Bills, Vikings, Bengals, Jags, Texans, Cardinals, Tennessee, Browns, Kansas City, Green Bay takes on the Saints. Who will be quarterback for either of those teams on that day? Nobody knows. Eagles takes on the Falcons. The Jets take on the Panthers. San Francisco takes on the Lions, the Seahawks, and the Colts. Phil, your Washington football club will be hosting the San Diego /LA Orange County Chargers. Late games, Dolphins, Patriots. And then, of course, you've got the Broncos and the Giants. And then you got the Bears and the Rams. And Monday night is the evil Baltimore Ravens taking on the even eviler Raiders. That's it. That's the first week. The rest will be released tonight. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Speaking of sports, Major League Baseball did something yesterday that you normally don't see sports organizations do. They looked at the A's and said, this isn't working. You guys should probably look somewhere else.
Oakland A's fans are worried and angry that the team might pick up and move over the lack of a new stadium. The team now could go to Portland or Las Vegas. Oakland A's president Dave Kaval.
Because of the timing and the delays and the roadblocks, it's just prudent to start looking at some other options.
The A's have been in Oakland since 1968. The team wants a new waterfront stadium in Oakland, but it's frustrated with nonstop delays. Opponents of the waterfront stadium plan claim the move threat is a big league bluff.
Go for it. Plenty of teams always talk about bluffing. The A's, I think they would move. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
In a move to punish her for speaking out against claims that the election was stolen from former President Donald Trump, House Republicans have just voted to strip Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Chaney from her leadership position in the House of Representatives. Afterwards, she remained defiant, telling reporters at the Capitol,
"We must go forward based on truth. We cannot both embrace the big lie and embrace the Constitution."
One of her allies, Illinois' Adam Kinzinger, had this to say.
What happened today was sad. Liz has committed the only sin of being consistent and telling the truth. The truth is that the election was not stolen.
Last night, Chaney delivered a 6-minute speech on the House floor with similar remarks, telling her colleagues in the GOP there was no election fraud and that to say otherwise would be a lie. Chaney is Congress's highest-ranking Republican woman, and she is the daughter of former Vice President Dick Cheney.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, let me ask you a question, because I know that Trump's coming for Liz's seat, too. right? They're going to try to do everything they can to destroy her. If you're Dick Cheney, okay? Now, mind you, let's just go back, right? The evil that Dick Cheney was, how he was portrayed, the things that he did, how nefarious he was, all of those things aside, and the fact that he shot his buddy in the face. Let's not forget that. I thought you were a deer or something. We're on it. We're on your porch. Yeah, it sucks. That's how he treats his pals. If you're Dick Cheney, I want you guys to listen to this. Do you use your power and influence to do a little crushing as well? It's politics, but he's also Papa. It's politics, but they made it personal. It's politics. He can be evil. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying. Just a question. Because I think to myself, well, somebody came after my daughter, what would I do? Right? Somebody came after my son, what would I do? Somebody came after my brother, my sister, you know. I mean, and in a situation like this where, and I'm not saying you have to like Liz Cheney. She stood her ground for what she thought and what she thinks is the truth. And she's talking more about the Constitution. Here's the problem with modern politics. The Constitution is only used as a weapon to damn the other side. It's not used as a roadmap anymore. It's not used as that thing. When people look up to the shining thing that is America, our spirit is a part of it, but that spirit and so much of it's based on that Constitution. Neither side hold it in any reverence unless it benefits them. I think she was straightforward. I think she was honest. I think she didn't back down. Got to be honest. For myself, I don't think she did anything too insane. I think she did speak the truth. But as we all know in today's world, there's your truth, my truth, and then the truth. I think she was straightforward about it. And I like the fact that she just, you know what? She went out there afterwards and she's like, yeah, you know what? Suck it. Everything I said, I still stand by.
The party is in a place that we've got to bring it back from, and we've got to get back to a position where we are a party that can fight for conservative principles, that can fight for substance. We cannot be dragged backward by the very dangerous lies of a former president.
Now the question is, what's the party going to look like? I'm curious, right? The left, for a long time, the Republicans have been talking about the cancel culture. They just canceled her for having an opinion that they didn't like. So they canceled her. But what's it look like? What are you based on? Are you based on this big lie? Are you based on whatever Trump says you guys do? Is that what you are? Is that it? Because the influence of Trump was always going to be there, and it could have been good or bad. I think at times he's had, you know, I liked at times Trump's honesty. And I'm always about honesty. Sometimes, though, Trump was one of those things where he would, you know, he would say something truthful and then he would embellish it to the point where it didn't matter what was said before that. You've now made it so ridiculous that it's tough to listen to. I don't dislike Trump. He go look at the way he governed. And this is the other thing. Do you care about the optics or do you care about policy? If you care about optics, then yeah, you had to get rid of Liz Cheney. If you care about policy, then the person you're going to replace her with is not a conservative. So you guys are no longer conservative. In fact, you guys are, well, for all intents and purposes, what they was call rhinos.
Republican sources that I have been speaking to say there is growing concern that Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is not conservative enough. Chaney is actually more aligned with Trump's agenda. She voted with his agenda more than 90% of the time. Stefanik voted against the Trump tax cuts in 2017, but she did vote to overturn the election results.
And that's what matters to Trump. If you're a conservative, and that's what she is, and let's differentiate the two. Democrats Republicans, those are corporations, those are brands. The ideology of which those corporations that started out as parties, those ideologies are long gone now. That's just what they pretend that their parties are built upon. And it's not true. It's not. It's party first, right? Personal second, the power of holding on to your power and your seat. And then, if there's a chance, we'll get to the people. They have no choice. Because here's your choice now. It's either going to be Stefanik or it's going to be who? You're going to put Marjorie Taylor Greene there? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to put her there? Probably not. Because even people that are Republican Trump lovers are like, well, we can't, let's not, push the crazy so far to the front. But you have to ask yourself, both sides of the aisle, are you for critical race theory, right? And the insanity of canceling everything because you don't like somebody said the fact that, I think, men are men and women are women, and I don't believe in 765 genders. So we should get rid of you. Is that what your party's going to be about? Which is no. Are you for the continual BS and allowing over here on the right a guy that's not in power anymore, a guy that had his issues and has told some whoppers? Again, I'm not talking about the governing style, because I think what he did in many ways is he had a lot of Reagan-esque like qualities with the way that he governed. He was even moderate at times. But is that what you guys are now? Are you Trumpicans? So you've got conservatives and you've got liberals. But the party, the uniform, the optics, the company, Democrats and Republicans. She said, I'm a conservative. This is who I am. She stands by it. So there you go. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. All of that being said, the rest of the country is sitting there going, why is gas so through the roof that what is going on? How bad is it? Is it going to get any worse? It's possible. In the next few days, it might get a little bit worse, but it will get better. There's plenty of gas. It's getting it to the stations. That's the issue at this point. Then the question comes, what do you do with Russia and the hackers that are from Russia, but they don't really, they're not, Putin didn't tell them to do anything. Come on now. He would never do that. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday. Producer Phil, you, like me, love hockey. Putin every year for his birthday and stuff, he plays in a hockey game.
I did not know.
He scored 8. Oh, my God. He scored 8 goals in his hockey. He scored 9. My bad.
Is that like a Kim Jong-un thing where he plays every round of golf with a hole-in-one?
That's it, yeah. He shot a 32. Kim Jong-un, I think that's the thing. He had 9 hole-in-ones or some ridiculous thing like this. It's so easy he doesn't want to play. And his people buy into it. So the Pooter scored 9 goals. But the Pooter knew what was going on. Of course Putin did. Nothing goes on in that country without him knowing. And the dark side people have absolutely alerted him. Because why? Because he wants his VIG. He doesn't need 100% of a few things. He wants 10, 20, 30% of everything. That's how he's the richest man on earth. And if you think Bezos is the richest man on earth, you are fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself. Nobody has more money than the Pooter. Nobody. But he's also the leader of that country, and there needs to be some sort of comeuppance, if you will,
He's going to have to think seriously about attacking or at least, sanctioning their oil supplies and their money. And if he does that, I would give him some very stern advice to make sure he thinks through an off-ramp so that we don't get into an escalatory battle that we can't win.
Yeah. That's Tom Bossert, who was a security advisor for Trump. And the off-ramp is, in a situation like this, you need to show, because it's kind of one of those things, right? Two kids on the playground, you could go even further. It's like your first day in prison. But I'm going to push. Let's see what you're willing to do. Are you willing to make a move? Are you going to do something? Now, Biden has to figure out what he's going to do, but do it in such a way where, sanctions, some other things, shows you mean business without escalating to the point where you know that there's going to be another attack and then it just escalates from there.
Russian newspaper Kommersant reporting U.S. Embassy spokeswoman Rebecca Ross was among the 10 diplomats asked to leave Russia after the U.S. slapped sweeping new sanctions on Moscow. The White House imposing those sanctions in reaction to Moscow's alleged interference in the 2020 election, the massive SolarWinds hack, and the ongoing occupation of Crimea. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
So they're asking our people to leave even before we've stepped up other sanctions that will come from this. So what do you do? For me, I would just go over to our buddies over in the Ukraine and go, is there anything we can do for you? I know the guy that was here before the guy before me that I worked with, that guy, I know we sent you blankets, but could we do anything else just to make it uncomfortable? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Omaha Steaks, baby. Omaha Steaks. So, they got a new deal. It's called Let's Go Grill. So I get Omaha Steaks sent to me. Goodness me. I think it was not this past Friday before last. I have nothing left. I think I have 2 kielbasa's left. It's gone. The fillets, ate them all the first night. Burgers, I have a couple burgers left as well. Delicious. Chicken breast, the pork chops. To me, the pork chops were the best. And it's the way you prepare them. And by the way, they're going to help you do that as well. Right now, they got a deal going. So Let's Go Grill. So you get all of these things. You get the tartlets, right? You get the scalloped potatoes. Yeah, that's right. You also get seasoning and a cookbook, barbecue book that goes with it. And then you get the fillets. Then you get the kielbasa, which is amazing. Then you get the chicken breast and all these amazing things. And the burgers. They're going to throw in an extra. You ready for this, kids? An extra 12 burgers, 5 pounds of burgers. It's a $44 value, absolutely free, and they're going to take another $20 off. Now, what you do is you go to omahasteaks.com, simple and easy. You go to omahasteaks.com. When you do that, you go up to the search line and you type in the keyword, just put in Chad. From there, start enjoying the delicious Omaha Steaks. Eat them up, taste them, they're amazing. So you're going to get this incredible, amazing food, which is your fillets, your boneless chicken breast, your burgers, 5 pounds of them, pork chops, kielbasa, scalloped potatoes, apple tartlets, the seasoning, $20 off. All you have to do is go to omahasteaks.com, use the keyword Chad, omahasteaks.com, keyword Chad, Chad Benson Show.
Podcasts are American as hot dogs, apple pie, football, and sushi.
Oh, my goodness. No.
Okay, maybe not sushi. Next time you have a craving for something sweet and tangy, download a Chad Benson Show podcast.
Boy, that is good. It's different because you get a little bit of saltiness. It's so good because it's sweet and salty at the same time.
Get a taste on iTunes, iHeart, or Spotify and binge to your ears' content.
Oh, yeah.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
This is Viral Solutions here in Decatur, Georgia. It's been a COVID vaccine site all along, but today they're expanding that to 12 to 15-year-olds, which is why we're seeing here 14-year-old Jacob Laney. Jacob, what went into the decision today for you to get vaccinated?
Well, my friend got COVID, and it looked really bad, and I just did not want to get it.
He just did not want to get it. So he got vaccinated. He's 14 years old. He's scared.
After I get my second dose, I think I might be able to see more people, but not actually go see them a lot. But I think I'll be less scared of getting it and less scared of having issues involved with COVID-19.
Dude, you need to stop living in fear. I'm just going to let you know that. That's the craziness of some of this stuff. 12 to 15-year-olds can now get the Pfizer. But I can see them, but I can't see them. My son's 10. He goes out and sees his friend now. Why? Because at some point in time, even his mother agreed that this had gotten to the point where it was so overly just pushed down everybody's face about how horrific this thing was, and that kids better, that, the mental health of my son, if you're afraid to see your friends, that's nuts. This is not the Ebola virus meets the Black Plague. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Breaking news. Ellen DeGeneres says, I quit. I'm over this. I gave you 19 years, and you gave me hundreds of millions of dollars. And because I'm mean to some people, according to them, I have to go. She's opting out of her show after 19 years. She's made enough. What do you think her net worth is? Let's take a look. Holy mother of goodness. Producer Phil, what do you think it is?
I'll say 25 million.
Well, anywhere between 370 and 500. It's a lot of millions. Man, I did not, she's 63 years old. I did not know that. She's 63 years old. So she's out. She's leaving. Liz Chaney's out. It's crazy. It's just nuts. It's crazy. Gas prices through the roof. The Israelis are fighting with the Palestinians again. It just never seems to end.
Top line result of all studies that were included in the systematic review said less than 10% of cases were transmitted outdoors. It is that meta-analysis that combines science from many different places. I think over 19 studies were included. The top line result was less than 10%.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing ever. That is a CDC director. Even the New York Times is hammering them about their outdoors. You just said 10%, knowing full well it's probably well under 1% maybe. By the way, that 10% number, first, it's a safe number. Secondly, because you're just saying it's under 10%, which is not a lie, but it's not the truth. Here's what Dr., and I love this, Muj Sevic, virologist, St. Andrews University, he believes, or she, I'm not quite sure what a Muj is, Muj Sevic, that it's probably below 1% and maybe below 0.1. What she is saying, the CDC director, is essentially saying, look, shark attacks are fewer than 20,000 swimmers a year. The number really is 150. Why does this matter? It matters because of the insanity as we go to vaccinate our kids now, where you hear things like this is a kid who's getting vaccinated because he's terrified of this thing. And listen to him.
After I get my second dose, I think I might be able to see more people, but not actually go see them a lot.
What? You might be able to go see people, but not actually see them? What about school?
I have been out of school for a year, even though I've gone through 2 grade levels. And I haven't been able to see a lot of people that I used to know. It's really hard to see some people. I mean, we do go back to school now, but we have to be really far away and can't always talk to each other, and everyone has masks on. It's very confusing.
Yeah, very confusing. Well, hey, according to the CDC, you should double, maybe triple your mask. Wrap yourself in bubble wrap. And that's after you get the vaccine. I don't know why you're so anti-vaccine. I've got the vaccine. I got both shots. I got Moderna. I had the virus, by the way. I had the vid. Because you were reckless? No, because I did everything right and I still caught it. But I was fine. And the numbers bear out that a majority, a vast, 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 vast majority of people, old and young, by the way. Everybody thinks that the death sentence is you're old and you get it, you're dead. And then you go and look, and it's like 94% of people who are over the age of 65 or over the age of 75 or 80 get this, still live? Yeah. No, it's just, you're dead. It's the way it should be. No, it's not. The CDC has played a game, which is part of the insanity of this wacky world of politics and craziness. They have gone back and forth. They've changed things. Even the director, Rochelle Walensky, came out and talked about distancing, talked about mask. You could even be outside without a mask, and within hours, she had flopped back to whatever it is that they were trying to do. And you wonder why people look at them and say, I don't believe anything you have to say. Susan Collins, a Republican, but very reasonable.
Dr. Walensky, I used to have the utmost respect for the guidance from the CDC. I always considered the CDC to be the gold standard. I don't anymore. I think the conflicting, confusing guidance from your agency has undermined public confidence and contradicts the scientific guidance of many experts.
Yeah. They have contradicted themselves. They have gone from one place to another place. They have said one thing and later on changed that one thing. And much like everything else, it's never for the better. It's always like, remember we said 6 feet? We need 400 feet. Right. Nobody's allowed to talk. Don't even look at anybody, because this is also one of those things where it passes through your eyes. So it's a joke, and they only have themselves to blame. They do. You could have come at this in a different way. And the problem is they don't get it. But it's politics, right? Politics is, everybody's learned something from Trump is you never apologize. You just press forward. You never apologize. You just move forward. You never apologize. You just keep going. And it's insane. You can be cautious without being ridiculous. But this thing became political. And once it got to the point where it became political, once it got to the point where people chose sides on things like the mask and vaccines. Chad, you've said you won't get your kid vaccinated. I said, I don't think my kid needs to be vaccinated. People, that's probably the way you felt about polio. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I felt about polio. My kids are vaccinated. I don't give them to all at once because I don't think, even my doctor. I know you guys, your doctors are way better than my doctor because my doctor's a witch doctor or something. But you don't need to do all this at once. I mean, you could space some of these things out. There's, it's amazing. You can't have conversations. And by the way, when people say everything's settled science or this, that, and the other, you and I both know none of that's true. The reality is, more often than not, science is not settled. They battle amongst themselves in many different ways. You can have one scientist come out and say, yeah, you know what? You don't need to once you get the shot, man, go live your life. And the other scientists are saying, well, no. Well, why are you saying no? This one's over here said that, I've got this thing and the chances of me getting it are slim. And even if I do get it, the chances of anything happening to me are virtually nil. Yeah, but, well, no. It's frustrating. I think we should all be frustrated at this point in time. And I think even people on the left are getting frustrated because it became a left-right issue. It's a great article in the Atlantic magazine of why progressives, in particular, right? In particular, why progressives continue to want to see this thing play out longer and longer. And it's funny to see some of the stuff in there because you have people. There's one lady in there. There's a doctor. And I'll post it on the old Twitter. It says, the one thing I know, she talks about, she's left of left. And she's a psychiatrist and she talks about, I will tell you this though. My progressive patients are more neurotic than the people I treat who are in the center or on the right. And some of the stuff they talk about, how they are giving up the trust science thing for things that are just ridiculous, like going outside without a mask on. Can kids, we're having a debate, should kids be able to play sports outside? Without a mask? Well, yeah, they're going to play sports. I don't know. No, I don't think so. I think that could be dangerous. In fact, if you're going to go to camp, make sure you wear a mask 24/7. And if you're vaccinated, wear 2 masks. Social distancing at all times, even in the great outdoors. So stupid. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet, text, love hearing from every single one of you. Talking still today, a lot of it is about, and you know me, I don't get too much into a lot of the weeds and stuff when it comes to politics. Liz Chaney ousted. They decided they don't need her anymore. She's gone. Now it is truly the party of Trump. He holds sway and influence altogether. It's his party to do with as he wishes. And he got his wish with a lot of Trumpians, which is essentially she is gone.
She has continuously framed President Trump as a danger, not only to the Republican Party, but to democracy itself. And so, like Chaney has said, after the vote, she is going to continue to make her voice heard on the topic. She does not believe that former President Trump, should have any place in the Republican Party, let alone make his way back into the Oval Office.
Yeah, so and we'll see. We'll see if he ever has a chance of getting back to the Oval Office. Does he want that gig again? Is he enjoying this more, that he gets to be the puppet master and pull the strings and get them to do the things he wants them to do without all of the headache? Look, I've had my issues with Trump, and I've also praised Trump. I'm going to tell you, whatever president's in there, I will give them kudos and attaboys or girls, ladies, when they do something good, and I'll criticize them, just like you should anybody. One thing I've always said is the amount of negativity that the media threw on him from day one was so ridiculous. The BS lie of Russia, Russia, Russia for 4 years was ridiculous. But along the way, Trump did not help himself. Along the way, Trump had more than a few opportunities to really take a hold of this presidency and run with it in a way that could have been ridiculously amazing. But at the end of the day, he lost. And so much of why he lost had very little to do with policy and so much to do with insanity, much of which he and the media, which need and love fighting with each other, caused. The media was out to get him, and now they regret it. Why? Because who wants to cover Biden? Honestly. Hey, we're going to watch paint dry. Ooh, what kind of paint? Beige. Oh, well, that's really sounds horrible. It just sounds like no. I mean, that's now they're all looking around going, why aren't people watching us? Because you weren't interesting. The person you were covering was interesting. You're not interesting. The lies, and there was plenty of them on both sides. But now it's Trump's party, and he can do what he wants with it. And they've decided that to hand the keys of the entire party over to him. And we'll see how it goes. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. My Pillow has amazing towels. Love the My Pillow towels. They're first of all, they're huge. And these towels are amazing. It's so soft. Not a lotion-y feel, right? That's what I like. It's not a lotion-y feel. It's super absorbent. And I have my MyPillow towels. I've got my MyPillow sheets. I've got my mattress topper, which to me is still the best thing out there of all the amazing things that Mike Lindell has produced over there. The MyPillow mattress topper is awesome, and I absolutely love it. Here's the thing with the towels: you get these incredible towels, right? And they are awesome. You get amazing different colors. You're going to get 2-for-1 opportunity here. You're going to get 2 bath towels, 2 pack hand towels, right? So these, they're a little bit bigger. And then you get the 2 washcloths. And right now, you get 2 6-piece sets of those. Are you ready for this? Normally, for that, you're going to pay about $110. Right now, well under $50. Boom. 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty, washable, dryable, 7 colors to choose from. All you have to do is go to MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
They got the beat all right, the Go-Go's, now members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The first inductee, that's an all-female band where they played their own instruments.
Rock Hall VP of Education Jason Hanley says this year's class is also historic, with Tina Turner and Carole King getting in as solo acts. The first time 3 female or female-fronted groups are getting in the same year. Turner and King were already members alongside their ex-husbands. They're now just the second women inducted twice. Stevie Nicks was the first. Also getting in this year, Foo Fighters, Jay-Z, and Todd Rundgren. The ceremony will be held in October in Cleveland.
Yep. Carole King in. Top of that, you got Tina Turner. She was in with Ike already. But you've got the Go-Go's. And it's long time. Way too long. Here's the thing. If you've never seen, they've got a great documentary out about the Go-Go's. It was released, I think, late last year. I've watched it a couple times. It's awesome. Just to watch the maturation process. And I'm going to say this. I used to love Linda Carlisle. She's a little too much work done for me. But watch the entire process of them. But they were the first all-female band, play their own instruments, write their own songs, sing their own music. Number 1 hit. You how many have since done that? If you answered 0, you'd be correct. Why it took so long, I think people are wondering. But that's what it happens. For whatever reason, you wonder, why did it take so long? Like Pat Benatar. How is she not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Again. Jay-Z's in, which I got 0 problems with. Tina Turner getting in as a solo artist. Seems like that, what? It's just, but it's politics. I mean, that's what we're going through now with, what was it yesterday? Tom Cruise gave back his Golden Globes. Again, I go back to, he's got Golden Globes? Yeah. Gave back his Golden Globes, right? Yeah. And they're going to not show the Golden Globes on TV because they're not diverse enough and blah, 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 blah. On the other side of things, it's like, these are award shows, but this is what happens. Politics. It's politics. And that's sad. Politics isn't the minute politics gets into anything, I mean, anything in life. And there's a difference between sales and politics, right? Because in life, the reality is you're a salesperson in everything you do. But when politics gets to the point where it overrides all of that and it gets really embedded, that thing's screwed. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Got a good battle going on Twitter right now. Because I posted something earlier about the rumor that we started that there are going to be shortages of jobs, and people are yapping about that. It's kind of funny. Go there, check it out. You guys have a blessed, wonderful day. We got you over the hump. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.